My name's Courtney Maddox. I'm a mom of 4 kids. I've been in real estate for just about 2 years now, and I'm obsessed. My husband, Boo Maddox, is the team lead here at the Perry Group. I started in real estate at a different brokerage. My husband started this team, and I just recently joined in the last couple months. I absolutely love it. The purpose of this video is to let you follow me around for a week and see what it looks like in the life of a real estate agent and a mom. Enough about me to start things off. Let me show you a little bit more of the process that goes into showing homes to buyers. There's a lot that goes into it. Sometimes you don't realize because you show up and it seems to be smooth. There's a lot behind the scenes. Okay, I'm headed out to show some homes. Leaving the office, looks like it's nice and cloudy. Here's what I like to do every time I go out with clients to show homes. I have this packet of information. I always like to include my own reference sheet so I can just double check all the stats on the property first. And then I include a highlighted one for the buyers just that shows, there's a lot of information on these sheets, so I like to just highlight, the price, the year built, the lot size, bedroom, bathroom, that kind of stuff. And then I always include this buyer packet. Let's see. Buying a home. And I love to include this flyer for the pre-approval process, and it has the info for a preferred lender, and it has a QR code. So if they are interested in offering, really easy for them to scan the QR code and be able to start a pre-approval if they want to submit an offer. Those showings went super well. The buyers actually we found them the perfect home. They're on a time crunch because she's starting her job literally next week. So we're trying to get them the right home and get them the best deal and make it close as quickly as possible. So stay tuned, because later in the week we ended up having to go under contract and negotiate a really good deal for them. If you follow along with me for long enough, you're definitely going to hear seller finance come up. I'll tell you a little bit more about how I got into this niche and why it happens to be it seems to be half the transactions that I do are seller financing. And it's kind of funny because as I'm recording talking about how I got into seller financing, I actually literally have a listing agent who's about to list a home, and they're asking me about seller financing on something that I sold. So just watch. So I have an investor who I recently started working with, and we've submitted probably 3 offers at this point. I know exactly what he's looking for, and we have a really good system down, and he's definitely looking for a good deal. And so we have not had any of our offers accepted yet, because a lot of them are kind of a shot in the dark. But I'm really excited because rewind. We submitted an offer on a property. He's specifically looking for seller financing. And if you know anything about seller financing, it's a little bit tricky just because there's not a ton of properties that qualify, let alone sellers who are willing to seller finance. And on top of that, listing with an agent who knows what seller finance is and how to do it, and whether or not they should list it on the MLS and mark seller finance as an option. So there's a few layers deep into it, and then whether it's a good deal or not. And some buyers are looking for a good deal specifically. Some of them are looking for some of them are looking for their personal home. It doesn't necessarily have to be a great deal, but they just don't qualify for traditional financing for one reason or another. But a lot of investors are just looking for something that pencils, because a lot of stuff is not penciling right now with interest rates. So this buyer is looking for something very specific, just a property that he could pay off in 5 years. And so something I do a lot is seller financing. It honestly started as a snowball. I had some buyers that wanted to offer on a home that they really liked, and the seller was offering seller financing, and I was like, hi, I need a crash course in seller financing. Went and researched it, sat with my broker trying to figure out the ins and outs. And my buyers offered on it, didn't end up feeling great about the house, but ultimately I was like, ooh, seller financing. This is kind of interesting. So after having gone through pretty much, we got under contract and we underwrote the whole entire deal. They didn't end up liking it. We found him something else, but I was like, ooh, this is kind of interesting. And my husband and I were selling one of our investment properties, and we're like, let's list it with seller financing. Why not? So from that one listing, I ended up getting tons of leads from it, like a lot of people interested. Hello, this is Courtney.
Hi, Courtney. Hey, real quick, I'm just calling about a listing that you had previously.
Yeah.
Vineyard.
Yes.
It was, sold 9/16/2023.
Yeah.
And I'm familiar with Vineyard. I'm looking to list a property in the Garden neighborhood.
Okay.
And see, I wonder, I just did some keyword searches, and you were kind of promoting seller financing.
Yes.
What was the interest there?
I would say, it's funny you asked that. I was literally just talking about this property. Lot of interest on it, to be honest.
Okay, so people were actually wanting seller financing. Or
yes.
just in general, it was a popular listing.
Yes. Would you say that well, okay, I think it's a combination of things. I think it was a really good property, and I think that there's kind of a couple types of properties in Vineyard. There's really nice ones, and there's some not so great ones. And so this was one of the nicer ones, but the seller financing was extremely attractive to a lot of people, so it went really well.
Okay. Did you end up executing the seller financing option, or what was that like?
Yeah, we did. And we got multiple offers, and the thing about seller financing is that you kind of there's more levers to adjust than just like purchase price, right? So like we ended up getting a really good deal as far as great down payment, and then as well as like a interest rate that worked really well for the buyer and the seller. And then it was a great deal. Tell me a little bit about the property, because I honestly still have very interested buyers that have now converted into clients from that actual listing. So I may have a buyer for you even before you go to market, depending on what
very cool. Yeah, let me just explain it real quick. We created a basement apartment right when we moved in. It is a single family home.
And then bedrooms, how many bedrooms?
Well, it's got 6 bedrooms.
Okay.
And it would need to be, and this might eliminate most or everyone. Oh, it's not worth it.
But good to know.
If you do seller financing, we're looking at a $400,000 down payment.
Okay.
And they could finance the rest at 2.875.
Right.
We'll just hand off our rate.
Yeah, that's great. And that would be including paying off the HELOC, is that correct?
Yeah, we would keep our mortgage, but that would allow us to pay everything off that we owe secondarily, credit cards and everything anyway.
Yeah, that gets you the cash that you are wanting out of the sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. From my experience, that may be a little tougher to get. I find a lot of people will get anywhere between 10 to like 25, maybe 30% down on seller financing. I find that most people who have like $400,000 to put down, will want to either, they'll probably be able to just get a different financing option, or they want to split it between a couple properties. So, I'm wondering if, maybe talk with your wife and see if there's any lower amount that you guys would be okay with the down payment, and I think I could probably get you, like if it was maybe $150 to $250 down, I think I could get you an offer on it.
Yeah, that's something to consider, because maybe that will allow us to cash flow enough that it makes sense.
Would you mind, I'm just about to jump into a showing, would you mind texting me over like those numbers that we've talked about, and then any photos that you have?
Awesome. Yeah, I'll send that over. Cool. Thanks.
Okay, we'll
Bye-bye.
talk later. Bye.
All real estate purchases have multiple negotiation points in a contract, like price, timeline, earnest money, all of the deadlines. There's a lot of moving parts, but seller financing has all those same moving parts plus times 10. So with seller financing, there's multiple terms that you have to look at. It's obviously the purchase price, but then there's a down payment that the buyer brings in. There's an interest rate that the seller agrees to give the buyer. And there's a balloon payment for the financing. So there's a lot of different moving parts. And it's not all stuff that you can do in your mind. So watch how when I'm on the go, sometimes I just have to pull out my laptop and hotspot to my phone. And I have a seller financing calculator that I can plug in all these different moving parts and tell a buyer what the monthly payment would look like with all of the terms. And sometimes we have to do that real time on the phone, on my laptop, in the car.
So I just pulled off to the side of the road to kind of underwrite this deal and see if it's even possible. The seller said that they're thinking around $799, $800. So I don't know if you can see this. I have a seller financing calculator that I have to hotspot to my phone. And if I type in that purchase price and then I mess around with some of the numbers like the down payment, he was mentioning $200,000 down. He was also talking about $400 would be ideal, and that's 50% down, which is highly unlikely to pencil for anybody. Well, it could pencil. I just think that anyone with $400,000 in their pocket is, like I told the agent, going to want to diversify a little more. Or, I mean, they can probably qualify for a different type of financing, like if at that point. But the tricky part is if we were to do 25% down, which was $200,000, I definitely think I could get someone to do that. The only issue is that they have a HELOC. So even if we did like 5.5%, which is probably the higher range of what my investors would be interested in, with a 30-year amortization, that puts the monthly payment at like $3,500. So and that's not including taxes. Okay, that puts the monthly payment, at that point it's not even cash flowing. So if we brought the interest rate down to let's say 4.75 or just 5, let's just do 5, that would be still not cash flowing for anyone. So the deal just may not be doable. Because even if we went down to like 4% rate, at that point my buyer could cash flow maybe $300 a month, but the seller would not have enough down to pay off his HELOC. So they would still have the HELOC on the property, and they would be in the negative every month. So it's probably not doable, unfortunately.
I have some clients who are wanting to build their next home. As far as building, this builder is probably going to take about 10 to 12 months, and they currently own a home. They're planning to sell that home to afford the next one. She asked me, do you think we should sell now and move in with family, or should we wait and sell it later? And so I never want to advise anyone on the market because I don't know what the market's going to do. I can tell you what the market did in the past, and I can help you and give you all the data. So I gave these clients the data on what their home was worth a year ago at this time and what it's worth now, so they could see how much it appreciated, and maybe assume that appreciation for the next year. I told them kind of the benefits of selling now. You know exactly what you're going to get out of it, versus later. Interest rates might go down, and the buyers, I don't know, maybe prices go up and they can get more out of it at that point. I got a call from Zillow, and this lady was super honest with me, which I really appreciate. I can't tell you how many times I get a call from Zillow, I show them homes, and they just ghost me, or I don't hear back from them, or they're like, oh, actually my cousin's an agent, and I'm like, why didn't you have your cousin show you all these homes? So this lady was super honest and upfront from the get-go, which I really appreciated. And she also gave me the opportunity to earn her business, which I also appreciated.
So I took a Zillow call a couple days ago, and it's a lady she had a few homes that she wanted to tour. I said, I'm happy to tour them with you. If you want to send them over, I'll get it all set up. And she's like, hey, full disclosure, I have a cousin who's an agent who would be helping me out, so I don't want to waste your time. And I just let her know, first of all, thank you so much for being honest, so that I don't feel led on. I really appreciate that. And I absolutely don't mind the opportunity to earn your business and come tour some houses with you. She said her cousin was out of town, so I'm like, I'm totally available. So today we toured 4 different homes. She came with her mom and her sister, and it was a riot. We had a blast. And after we toured the last home, I was asking her some questions, just trying to understand which home she liked the best, if she would like to offer on it, or if she would like to keep looking. We were talking a little bit more about it, and she was like, you know what, like, my cousin's an agent, but he's not super full-time, and like, he doesn't really know this area, so why don't I call you next week and let's get, maybe go see some more houses. And I was like, abso-freaking-lutely, I got you. I'm totally down. And so, yeah, anyways, I feel like it's kind of fun to know that you're competing against someone. What I don't like is not knowing if I'm competing against someone and getting blindsided. So anyways, I appreciated her honesty. I appreciated the opportunity. And she actually seemed to love the first home that we toured. And as I asked her some more questions, and just told her, hey, absolutely no pressure, but I'm going to do some more research into it and see, where they're at as far as any interest on the property and stuff like that. It seems priced pretty competitively. So after we parted, she says, or I called the listing agent and I said, hey, what's going on? And she said, we have an offer on the table that we're going back and forth with. I'm like, okay, hold off. Let me chat with my buyer and see. And the buyer, I called her back and she just said, yes, hold them off. I think I have some good ideas for how to turn it into an accessory dwelling unit that we could rent out to students. It's right by UVU. So, can I call you tomorrow? And can you try to stall the listing agent? And I said, absolutely. So, I mean, hopefully, it turns out to be a good fit, and hopefully she wants to use me as her agent, because that would be amazing and super fun. I really loved her. I would love working with her. So,
If you've made it this far in the video, thanks for following along. Thanks for caring. I obviously love what I do, but it's fun to see that you guys like it too. Comment below what you'd like to see more of. I have no idea what you guys want to see. If you want to comment below, if you want to see more phone calls, if you want to see more houses, if you want to see, tell me what you want to see more of, and I will show you more. We only have a couple weeks with these Spanish Fork buyers to get their loan finished and get them in this home. Her job is starting ASAP. So if you want to stay updated, make sure and like and subscribe to get notified when my next video gets posted.